Hey my bully people, what's up? This is Curtis here at bullytree.com. That's www.bullytree.com. And it's been a while. It's been a minute. I actually took a couple of weeks off, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just to relax a little bit and learn, learn about everything that I could, and did a little bit of getting around and just enjoying this winter. Um, but I'm back, and I missed you guys. I missed making these videos. I was committed to at least one video a week, and so I've fallen about 3 videos behind since I started making them. But I'd catch up. I promise. You got my word. I'd catch up. Anyway, today I want to talk about pet food, in particular dog food. Um, we are just used to, most of us are just used, have gotten used to going to the grocery store or going to the pet shop and just buying a brand of dog food that we have become familiar with, or that we are pleased with, or that someone in authority, maybe a vet, may have recommended, or that our friends may have used and recommended because they said they got good results from. All of these things are fine. I mean, when selecting the dog food, I'm not here today to talk down or to put down dog food brands. What I'm here today to say is to talk about is that dog food brands and dog foods, most of the major dog food brands, you guys should know, are controlled by 2 or 3 major bodies. No matter what the name is, they're controlled, or they're controlled, manufactured by 2 or 3 major bodies, and therefore, in the promotion of dog foods, they won't always promote what's best, because they have all of these things on the table, and they have to provide types of foods that would meet the demands of every need. Financial wise, so therefore, if I was a manufacturer of a certain model of car, I like to speak about cars again, and I manufactured 5 different kinds of cars, I wouldn't only advertise one car, because I'm trying to get all my brand sold, so I sort of forgot who the main manufacturer is at this point, but there were 3 of them, or 4, that manufacture all of the foods, all the Nutros and the pedigrees and the Purina Puppy Chow and all the IAMs and all of that stuff. They all come to 3 basic manufacturers, and so these guys are not really particularly interested in selling us quality stuff. They're interested in making numbers and selling quantity, and so they will advertise everything that they have. They will put it in a nice shiny package and give it a nice name and put nice looking ingredients on the package, when the truth is that those ingredients are not even in the meal. So I don't see corn nobody puts corn on a dog food bag. Nobody puts corn on a dog food bag. Main ingredients corn. Nobody puts a chicken byproduct on a dog food bag. They won't do that. They won't put a chicken head or some intestines or something, or feathers. They always put the nice cuts, nice cuts of beef. The truth of the matter is that most of the dog foods that we have, and the animal product that's in there, the meat that's in dog food, are either from sick animals, dead animals, animals that are no longer the old animals. They're never put into our dog foods prime quality cuts. That's the first thing you need to understand. Okay, there are some brands that tend to put a better quality of meat in the dog food, but still, you just imagine what a prime quality cut would cost us if we went to a restaurant. So the truth is, they cannot afford to put that kind of a product in the meal, because it will just basically cost us too much. Yes, the higher end dog foods may have better ingredients, but not always. That's not always true. So here's how I combated this 6, 7, 8 years, maybe even 9 years ago. First I started off really slowly. I started by going to the auctions and getting already done chicken. it's already slaughtered, and but they're in a whole form. And I'd buy them pretty cheap. I'll get like a whole chicken for like $2, already plucked and you know gutted, and in those days I had 15 dogs, maybe 10 dogs. I used to take in a lot of rescues and stuff. And so I would go and I would buy 20, I'd spend 40 bucks on whole plucked chickens, and I would take them home and I would cut them up myself, and I had a big freezer, and I would put them in there, and I would add it to my kibbles. In those days um, I only added chicken to my kibbles. I didn't add any other thing. I didn't add any veggies, any fruits, any bone meal, no oils, none of that stuff. And just doing that twice a week, twice a day for each dog, putting like a chicken leg in there with my kibbles for each dog. Just doing that, in like a month, I saw a difference in my dog. But one of the first differences I observed was in the content of the poop. The poop changed. It was still a little smelly because when you have these dog foods, they tend to make your dog your poop smelly. All the different ingredients, all the binders, and all the things that they put to keep it on the shelf. To preserve its shelf life. They make your dog poop. I know all of the corn and all that stuff makes your dog poop smelly. And so I started doing some research. In those days, the internet was just not coming along, and I started doing some research and found out that we could actually give the dogs the same thing that we eat without actually harming them. There are some do's and some don'ts. Some watch out for onions and apple pits and stuff like that. But in reality is our dogs would be much healthier if we fed them mostly in the way that we ate, healthy diets. And so I started getting the potatoes, sweet potatoes. I added some peppers, and of course, on my farm, I grow potatoes and other things. A lot of greens and broccoli and stuff. And so, to me at that time, those things were very accessible. Today I only grow organic tomatoes in the springtime, and have a good time with that. I have hundreds of tomato vines with multiple different types of heirloom tomatoes, but that's another whole nother topic. Yeah, and so at that time I grew a lot of greens, which I still do, but and I was able to incorporate some of these greens into my dog's food, and with continual reading, I discovered I could add more things like peppers and different types of potatoes, brown rice, any fruits, peaches, apples, pears. I added broccoli and greens, and kind of not knowing what I'm doing, but feeding the dogs like I would feed myself. Well, I want to tell you something. Just without knowing what I was doing, I cut down on my kibbles and I fed my dogs more of what I was eating. I'm a vegetarian, so with more of what I was eating vegetarian wise, but with the meat content, because we know dogs are carnivores, and so big change in my dogs, guys. Big change. I saw my dog's weight dropped. I had a 75 pound male. His weight dropped to 69 pounds. Lean muscle, really super shiny coat, really agile dog. A dog that was, that when I threw the ball, he was coming in last to get it. He was in the running. I saw his muscles really starting to show out, and it changed his dog's. Actually, it changed the dog's entire lifestyle, because he's not wanting to chase the ball, and he's wanting to, when I throw the stick in the pond, he's wanting to go in there. And so I realized that this couldn't be all bad. So I just wanted to make sure that my dogs were being well supplemented, and I wasn't missing anything in the meal. And so I read, and there were more things I had to add in, like bone meal, which in the interim I started using my eggshells and putting them in my blender and my juicer, and blending up really small, like powder. Worked perfectly. I put some eggs in there and I worked perfectly. I started getting chicken backs and necks and liver and gizzards, all good stuff, guys. Do some research and come up with some meals for your dogs. Even if you cannot afford to feed your dog every day, or because it takes time to prepare. I prepare mine in a couple of big pots, and then I break them down into Ziploc baggies and put them in my freezer that I have just for my dogs. But even if you don't have the time to prepare a meal, 2 meals a day for your dogs, like I do, what you can do is at least, once a week or once every other week, for 2 days, just feed your dog like some raw foods, raw meats, semi-cooked meats, some broccoli and some greens, carrots, peppers, pears and peaches. Make them into a little meal, and throw a little bit of a chicken broth on that there from your boiled chicken. That way it entices them to eat it. Much better than anything you can buy in the store, even the top brand foods. Much better. But what you have to do most is make sure that your dog, if you start wanting to go into this kind of feeding on a more regular basis, make sure that your dogs have all their supplements. And what I would advise you to do is to go into a vet's website, and I'm going to post some stuff too, or just do a search, a Google search for, or whatever browser you have, do a search for ingredients for dog food, and make sure that your dog is getting all the ingredients that it needs, to be supplemented, to have a healthy lifestyle, with feeding home food, home cooked food, raw foods, raw meats, bones, semi-cooked, broccoli and your spinach, carrots, celery, cauliflower, great stuff for your dogs. I have made some of the most interesting variations and combination of meals. My dogs love it, to the point where now they will eat a raw carrot, because a steamed carrot they have become so used to it that it's close to actual carrot, and they will actually compete for a raw carrot. Once he picks it up, he's not dropping it, he's gonna eat it, because he doesn't want the other one to get it. And so this stuff is good for your dogs. Guys, consider moving away a little bit from kibbles. Even the best brand of dog food has stuff in it that can hurt your dogs. For one, the preservative that preserves the shelf life. When you buy dog food, it says sell by, it doesn't say made on. You don't know how long it's sitting there. You don't know how long it's sitting in a warehouse. It could be in a really tightly locked bag to keep freshness. It's not going to keep 100% of its freshness, just like the food. But when you weigh things, your dog is actually getting real chicken, not a chicken byproduct. Real beef, not beef byproduct. Real turkey, not a turkey byproduct. Real brown rice, or barley. Real oats, real peppers, real broccoli, real stuff, where all the nutrients, nothing is baked. Kibbles are baked. This stuff is not baked, it's just probably broiled slightly, or even cooked for a minute, cooked for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever level you choose to cook it at, it will still be better than what's in the bag. So guys, consider every once in a while treating your dog to a healthy lifestyle by giving them some really good home cooking, not fried chicken and stuff like that, good stuff, okay? And it'll make your dog healthier. It'll bring a better bond between you and your dogs, because he's expecting this great meal from you. He'll do anything for you. But most of all, it can add a lot of years to your life, to your dog's lifespan. Okay, so consider feeding your dogs home cooked food, raw foods, semi-raw foods. We'll get into some other kind of feeding. People talk about holistic feeding and stuff, and that's great. Holistic feeding is great. It's better than the other kinds of kibbles, but it's still preserved on the shelf. It's still preserved on the shelf. You still have preservatives. You still have binders. So consider feeding raw foods, or semi-cooked foods, or even cooked foods for your dogs. Add all the necessary ingredients. Your dog should be healthy, never overweight, just perfect, great coat, skin, attitude, ready to work, and you'll enjoy a dog a lot more than a dog that just sits around walking after you, or not even concerned with what's going on because he's just too overweight and his body doesn't feel like getting up. Okay, so think about it, and I'll catch you on the other side. Before I leave, I want to say I just started a new venture. It's a bully website design service. You can find us at petwebs.net. That's petwebz.net. Websites are awesome. When you get there, you'll see some of the sites I have done. Beautiful, concise, not crowded, awesome banners, easy to navigate, cheap, does the job 100%. Don't overpay for your website. Peace, my brothers.